in the power of the tongue. So we come to tell you tonight, be blessed. In fact, just look at 3 people around you, tell them, be blessed. Be blessed. Be blessed. Bishop, I was on an airplane on my way to see you, and the Lord began to speak to me and said, write these words as encouragement to the saints around the world. Be blessed, my brother. Be blessed, my sister. Be blessed wherever this life leads you. Let me encourage you. Let me speak life to you. You can depend on God to see you through. You can depend on me to pray for you. Somebody tonight, all of the hurt and the pain that you've gone through, God's got an answer for you tonight. You might be hurt. Might be crying. Might be crying. Might be worrying. You might be worrying and frustrated too. Let me encourage you. Let me encourage you. Let me speak life to you. You can depend on God. You can depend on me to pray for you. To pray for you. Oh, I want you to know right now I'm going to keep on praying. Keep on praying. I'm watching and praying. Even in the midnight of the now let me prophesy for a minute. I see you in Bishop, riding on that airplane that day, I thought about everything you've been through. Yeah. And everything the people of New Orleans have been through. All we've been through. And I started thinking, what is the solution? And God said, tell them to pray. That's it. And watch him change. Watch him. Yeah. I pray for you. Oh. You pray for me. You pray for me. Watch God change things. I'll pray for you. You pray for me. And watch God change things. Oh, if you just get on your lunch break, would you just take a moment out to pray for me? Because I'm going to be praying for you. Watch God Just look at somebody and tell them, I pray for you. You pray for me. What's getting ready to happen? God's gonna change. Won't it change? Won't it change? I pray for you. You pray for me. I want my friend Crystal to come. Come on, Crystal. I pray for you. Well, she's humming. You pray for me. Aretha Franklin style. Watch God change things. Oh, yeah, yeah. I pray for you. You pray for me. Watch God change things. Oh, yeah. I pray for you. You pray for me. Oh, watch God change things. Five more minutes. We're gonna be in here. We ready. Share. Like. Since I met there's been a burning
Yeah. Boy, you got to be a certain age to know that one. And his burdens. He leads me. I know I'll be all right if I walk where he leads me. I'll always be running. The race, this whole race. I run the race. Woo! Yeah. One someday. All right, all right. I hate to cut him off. He about to get happy, ain't he? Is that Paul Morton? They got the super choir with him. Oh, they showing out now. They showing out. All right, let's cut it. Let's cut it. Let's cut it. They are really showing out. And hey, you can't blame when black folks get the spirit. I'm sorry, but when black folks get the spirit, Jesus is in the house somewhere. You know what I'm saying, brother? I ain't lying to you because I know that the Lord has been in this place. Man, listen, let me tell you something. I'm glad to have you, um, man, with me tonight to be able to just share some light on some things that I didn't know, and have may even been familiar with it, but still you can be familiar with something and still don't know what to do with it. And I thank God for you. In just a short time of knowing you, you've enlightened me and blessed me, and I'm glad, man, that you came on here. I don't really know how many people we get on here. I used to be bad about counting, you know. But man, here's what I think now. I know we had like 1,900 last Sunday. Looking at our page, we have a bunch of people, and I hope that sometimes, not only just look at our giveaways but all of the things, because Cliff, man, here's my quest. I've been in church all of my life except for when I got 18, and do like most people do. They leave the church, and you know some never to return and some come back. But one thing I noticed about the church since I've been a little boy on up into even now, there's some things that we never talk about in the church, but it hurts us as a people every day. You know,
Hmm.
stuff like
Hmm. Right.
so stuff like HIV and AIDS. I look at that African American females, and I have to look at that number because man, I'm telling you, Magic Johnson. I seen him the other day, and he don't look like he's been touched. I mean, he looks healthy as a horse.
Mm.
But we talk about that, and I don't understand how we don't talk about it in the church, but it hurts us. I mentioned HIV and AIDS. It was African American females was number one. The prison system still right now, and I don't think that'll ever change unless some serious awareness come. But in the prison system, I was talking to a couple of my children last night, and it's just blows my mind that you'll hardly ever hear in a traditional older small town church nothing about the prison system, and they house more people in America's prison system. We're 5%. Let me say it like this: we're 5% of the entire population, but we house more people in prison than any other country on the planet. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
now I'm not just gonna stop there because finances, life insurance, retirement. That's another thing that I don't think I've ever heard. I think the first time I heard it when I came to our church and we had a little demonstration there that some people had. One of our deacons had company. Well, not a company. They was. It was a company that came in, and it was so elementary because Mama taught us how to balance a checkbook at home. But we don't talk about these things, and I contend that's why we're so behind. So when Ray turned me on to you, man, I was excited and still excited because I think you have some information that if people will listen, could really change the dynamic. And I think both of us are on the kind of the same thing, but doing different areas. I talked about the children. Man, imagine if children knew. I mean, at 5 years old, people, babies come out learning. They're born learning. So I hear that we're behind. I haven't really looked at the study. Talked to some brothers that say you start teaching your kids not when they come, 4 or 5 years old, but soon as they hit this planet. And what if we could do that to our children, 4 or 5 years old, teaching them finances? I wonder would they go to Burger King and get a job, So I'm a
Hmm.
man of the stuff that I appreciate you this, however, that you want to talk about. But what do you think some changes could be? And how do you think if we knew better and then we did better? Because that's another thing I think that some are faced with, not knowing better, but maybe not doing better. But how could this change the whole way we see things? I mean, would I have to go to anybody's house and see them sharing a bologna sandwich, a family of 4?
Hmm.
I wonder sometime. But man, if you could, in your own way, could you tell us what you do, who you are, and then however you wanted to shed the light, you go right ahead. And I'm gonna ask you a few questions because there's a little information I have that if you don't cover it already, I just want to ask because there are different types of insurance out there. Some people think they're getting the good insurance because they get, it's all kind of stuff. And it's I thought, I'll say this, when I left my last job that I had been there for a while, I had a 401k, and man, I thought, I figured this up on my own. When I had been there 10 years, I got what was in there when I left that job. It would have been, it would never be enough for me to live maybe 1 year off of, and this was like the maximum of that they would let us match. So if you can get into all that, tell us what you do, man. I'll let you go ahead and I'll be quiet.
Oh man, thank God for being invited, for for an opportunity to learn and for an opportunity to fellowship with God, to fellowship with God's people, anytime we can get together and just build, whether it be through conversation or through action, it's
Right.
always a good thing.
Yep.
Definitely. Fellowship. And it's
That's
that's a
right.
blessing, man. First of all, man, I'm Cliff, man. We are the name of our company is CPA Financial, but even before we get there, man, I'm Cliff. I'm a man that believe in serving God, believe in working for God, and just believe in being able to be of service to our brothers and our sisters. So the question is, how can we serve you? Like,
Right.
I think being able to move through life with a spirit like that, how can we love you? How can we serve you? Pretty much make everything okay. We can know that everything is going to work out because that is our mission. How can we love and how can we serve? So we thank God for that. Man, I was just thinking about some questions when you were sharing some
Mm-hmm.
things that you said. That's what I was writing down. But what would we need besides money to
Mm-hmm.
keep our brothers and even our sisters out of prison?
Man.
Would
Man.
if can I say it the way I want to say it? If our bag was big enough,
Right. Right. Right.
could we buy some freedom?
Right.
At what age is it acceptable to start teaching capitalism?
Right.
A
Right.
man told me once, if I'm gonna live amongst capitalists,
Right.
then I need to understand capitalism. Otherwise, I'm just here. There's
That's
a
right.
game being played. I don't even know it's being played. Therefore,
Right.
if we
Right.
don't know it's being played, then we can't be in the game. You
No.
know, there's a game being played against us, but are we playing the game?
Right.
Thank God that there are some brothers who are playing the game and
Hey,
sisters
that's
too.
woo we. Some man. Some see. I run by stuff too fast, and see if I run by that too fast, that's the huge part. I mean, there's a game being played, but am I a participant in the game?
Am I
Man,
in it? Am I in it? Some play the game, some coach, some just spectate.
that's right. That's right. That's right. Woo.
at, at what point does knowing turn into doing? And man, I got some notes here, man. I want to get into, but man, I'll share this quickly, man.
Help yourself.
If I could,
You
if
help
I
yourself.
could, imagine this: two brothers, two brothers, two young fellas, full of passion,
Mm,
full of hard work, full of desire, working every day.
mm,
Decide that if we gonna work as hard as we gonna work, then we may as well work in capitalism. We may
mm,
as well understand. And so these two brothers say to themselves, now they friends, they really good friends, but these brothers say to themselves, where can we go to learn a little bit more about finance?
mm,
Capitalism, money. What if we own, because if we look at these people who are working in finance,
mm-hmm.
they bringing home something and they doing something. Seem like they know something more than what we know.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
So the brothers say, let's go to a bank. Let's go get us a job at a bank. That makes sense, right? Does that not make sense? If I want to know more about some money, I go to a job, I go to a bank and get a job.
Yeah. Right. That's
That,
right.
that makes sense, right?
That's what I thought. That's where all the money is.
Since that's where the money at. So they go
Yeah.
to this bank, they get a job, and while they at this job, Brother Bless, they learning something. They seeing that these people that come, the first thing they learned was that there was some products for us, and there was some products for those who were 1%ers or
Right.
5%ers, if you will. There was some stuff out there for them. And so these brothers say to themselves, look at what's happening in the lives of these 5%ers, these 1%ers. Look at, not only do they bring in a big income, not only
Right.
do they got something coming in, but we offering them products and services that's gonna keep this flipping for generation to generation. It's gonna protect every dollar they got. The rate of return is strong.
Right.
Now
Right.
they children's children gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now these other folks over here, what they learning is everything that they offer to them keeps them struggling, if that makes sense.
All the
These
system.
people never get. Does that make sense? These five percenters or leaving something to their children's children, and these other people are barely making enough to survive, and we offering them something every day.
Wow, wow, that's right.
Now, what blew these brothers' minds was this right here. We not 5%ers, but we want to leave something for our children's children.
Right, right, right.
We want to take care of the ones that come after us. And if we can sow the right seeds, if God will allow us, we want to have something while we here too.
Right.
But we'll be okay if we just able to take care of our children and their children.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Many of us have said, Lord, before you take me, please help me get my family straight.
Hell yeah.
Many of us have. And so that's what these brothers were saying. And so they seeing this thing and they had this idea and they say, what if we could take and give everything that we're learning and that we're giving to these 5%ers, everything that we're offering them, all the products, all the services, everything that we're offering them, what if we could flip it around and offer to these people over here that are not 5%ers? What if we can offer that to them? What would happen?
Right, right.
Do you think some of them would take advantage? So they say this to themselves and they began to offer this thing to these people, and that's exactly what happened. These people began to grow. Their bank accounts began to grow. They accounts for their children. They were able to see 30, 40 years before they were even retiring or thinking about leaving this place that their children was going to be all right. They started to have peace of mind.
Right, 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 right.
And these fellas felt like they were doing a good thing, a real good thing. And so they come to work and they got a smile on their face and they happy and they loving to be around each other. And at 8 o'clock Monday morning, they get called into HR. Soon as they hit the clock, they come in and they call them in the HR office. And what happened when they walk in the HR office? When they get in the HR office, they got HR in the middle. They got the branch manager to the left. They got HR in the middle, and they got security on the right.
Yeah, I have to say, but that the police coming up next.
Got to be. And they say, whoa, the energy is a little bit too much in here at 8 o'clock on a Monday morning for us. What's going on? Surely y'all called us in here to give us a raise.
Right, right,
and HR look at them and say, look here, if you keep telling them folks over there what we telling you to tell these folks over here, not only are we going to fire you, but we're going to sue you too.
Right, right.
Can you imagine the hurt on these brothers?
Man.
They had a heart to do what was right.
Right, right.
They working together.
Right.
They swear that they bring in their community along with them.
Right.
And they tell them they're going to get fired for
it. Boy, that's just like life.
Ain't it though? Ain't it though? Them brothers walked away from there. They said, you know what? They walked out that office that day and they said, you know what? Y'all never should have gave us access to everything that y'all gave us access to.
Right, right.
Because now we know where to go get it. We know who got the products. We know who got the services. We know what we got to do. And we know what we can teach other people to do. You never should. Now we connected.
That's right.
And these two brothers took and they built a company. And that company found me. And I thank God. And they said, we will build a company that will educate the non-5%ers and teach them everything that the 5%ers know about money. And we will bring it down for them and we will put them in a position to where they can feed themselves and feed the seeds of their seeds. And that's where this company found me, man. And I hopped on board.
You know, I got, you ever watch Willie D?
And Scarface, the podcast?
Man, you know, back when I was coming up, Scarface was the man. To me, I had to put him in the top 5 of rappers. I know Willie D, he said he had some trolls on his page. And I don't know, sometimes I don't know what people's motives are, if they have motives or if they really just don't have nothing else to do. I can't, if his names I don't recognize, I don't know who they are, but I don't want to distract from really what's going on. So I'm gonna have to get me some people who can monitor. I guess trolls might not be the word for them, but evidently it's people who say stuff that, and they probably don't know what they're talking about. So if you see any comments, if I can get them off here, I will. But we're gonna address the stuff that we know is right, and I'm gonna let you continue, because what I realize about some people and even the devil, it's kind of like slavery. It was not. There never was written in there that there's going to be freedom one day. So when people who never was designed to get information, and for somehow maybe because we created it or whatever, it ruffles some feathers. But I don't care what nobody say, man. I got family and I love my family like everybody love their family. And if there's somebody I can turn somebody on to help somebody when people have been taking money for years and spending on on their people. And I take it almost, people wonder why I feel like this, because man, my daddy died when he was 17. He was in the military United States government, got ran over by a truck. And the only way they treat back then is to fill you up with stuff to get you addicted. So when my daddy was a good man, very smart, intelligent man, very smart. I don't think I met anybody as smart as him. But sometimes, like myself and like many of us, when we're young, we use our smarts for ways that don't do anything but cause us our demise. So when you have a bunch of people who've been stepped on day after day, night after night, change a whole culture into where even people that look like you don't even like you because they don't even love themselves. You don't really have time for a lot of people, who may just whatever. I don't know what people's motives are. My motive is to educate and to put stuff out there that's real. And I don't know if you ever catch any flack, but if you ever catch any flack, always look to God and don't never be and not to, but always just stand on right. That's what I say, because I had a father, man. He left me and my brother a little something, but it wasn't multi-generational wealth. We got people who they born and don't ever have to worry about it. We already predestined to go to some penitentiary. So you and I slip through the cracks. Give God. But I don't know people. We're getting a lot of followers from just different places. And I don't want to shed a bad light on the church, because when you start talking about money and who got money, I promise you can come look at our church. You're looking at a pastor here who has never, ever stole anything from anybody. And people will say that because I have a few cars that some people deem the nice. So when you come to talk about money and how people get stuff, man, I worked all of my life, saving. And I heard an old man say, you can't never, young man, get rich trading dollars for hours. That blew my mind. But I needed to go to the next source so I get that next piece of information. So if you're already privileged, if you're already, living a good life, those are the people who don't even need to be having a conversation unless they're saying something to help. You know what I mean? People who, it's like insurance. There are people right now who don't have any health insurance. We got this COVID thing going on, and I know that's included. But before that, we had people dying because they didn't have any health insurance, and the only people who were doing the talking were the people who had health insurance. So I don't really know what people's motives is, but if your motive is not to say, if you leave a comment on this page, if your motive is not to say something positive, if you got a question and you don't agree, that's fine. But when you talk about use words like selling your soul for the devil, that's pretty serious. Now, I don't know nothing about people selling their soul to the devil for money, but the scripture says you can't serve two masters. This is not about selling your soul for the money. This is about people having insurance when they died. I just buried a young man not too long ago. Loved him to death. Went to the jail and seen him. Died in the penitentiary and then died with no health insurance. And that's not cool when you preach several funerals like that. So I don't know where all the talk come from, but I hope we chill, because nobody's selling their soul to the devil here for money. I don't have any money, and it's by design. It's a reason why. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
No. I'm listening. Why is it a badge of honor to be poor?
That's a good question. It's almost like, oh, well, girl, I had to go get my light bill paid today, and they didn't pay all of it. I mean, like, that's celebrated to be able to have to go to other places. And I'm not talking about people. Man, listen, there's some, we all fall on hard time. Well, not all of us, but if you grow up like I grow up and you don't really know how to maneuver your way through this America that we live in, we all gonna come on some hard time. And there's nothing glorious about going, man, when you have spent your time figuring it out, where I can go to this place on this and get this done. I can go to this place and this. Man, you know what? You can do something that you love to do and make some money instead of that kind of stuff, because we get caught up in that. And then, you know, I've heard people, man, and this is how a system will get you all crazy. I've heard of people who would not let something go because they would lose that check, but they don't see they have a potential right here. And I'm not talking about backbreaking work. I'm talking about do something and put your name on it. That's your brand, what they call it now, your brand, you know. And we get so, I mean, tell me why. I was raised in the, you know, I don't think all hoods are the same. Some small towns like we live down here, you know, it's nothing, you know, I mean, you can get killed, I can get killed anyway, but it's nothing real dangerous. I didn't have to deal with a whole lot of gang stuff, because by the time the gangs came here, I was already a grown man, and I was finna join no gang with some people who came out of town that I didn't know nothing about that seemed to be taking over the town. They wasn't taking over me. So I didn't join no gang, but we is a small town where you have, you know, you always got they always push these people over here in the projects. And then it is a badge of honor, almost a badge of honor, to never leave the projects once you get money, and then get somewhere and get killed. And then what, you know, and I start to get a little upset about that, generation after generation. So why is it, man? I mean, why is it a bad job? That's a good question.
A wealthy man said, I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. We can't. We can't. We can't. You know, one of the things that when this information was laid upon us, we had to make a decision to be wealthy. And that is, and we knew that we would catch it from a lot of places if we made a decision to be wealthy.
Right.
But that's the decision we made nonetheless. We decided that it was okay to be excellent. We decided that it was okay to shine our light. See, wealthy comes from, and that's what these brothers learned while they were here working at this bank, that wealth comes from putting ourselves in a position to add value. We could think of it more so as shine our light. You know, find dark places and light it up.
Right.
Live our ministry. The problem is we don't have the finances to live our ministry.
No,
There's so much help we want to do. There's so many things we want to do. We can't afford to do it. Have we just accepted that we won't do God's will?
Right.
You know, at some point, who taught us that it was necessary to be at the bottom of the pile? I think as long as we continue to identify with these words they pushed on us, these crayons, if you will, these colors that they've given us, these class titles that they've given us, then we'll continue to think that that's what we're supposed. If we start calling ourselves who we really are, we'll stand up and walk like it. Eventually.
Man, that's so true. And see, the Lord knows. I'm gonna tell you something. The Lord knows who's really on His side, and He knows who's not on His side. And that's the only thing that as a Christian preacher, man, I have been, you know, I have been educated, and I just don't go. Now, coming up in the church, you have probably a small understanding, you know, you King James version of the Bible and all that. But depending on what your calling is, I'm not called to look at nobody else and say, hey, I see you. Well, you must be. Are you selling your soul for money? You know, I guess I get tickled at people who got it okay. They refrigerator full, they're doing fine. But right down the street, there's somebody who's hungry. Now, let me tell you this. This is one thing about, and these are usually come from good old Christians. And I'm hard on Christians depending on what they say, because I have never seen in the Bible where you have a group of people coming to a church, they dress down to the T, they got the hats on, you know, they listen to a man or woman stand up and say a few words, sing a song, collect some money, and then go home, and nothing else to, you know, that's not church. And see, what our problem is we got too many people who are in the church who probably make comments like sell your soul to the devil and don't even know the devil the devil is so slick with people that if you're not in tune with yourself and know the Lord, the devil can have you saying something like that. You think you're wrong, and they think they right and they wrong all the time. You know, when you have black people, you know, and I understand that's what we are. That's the color. I understand what you're saying, but that's what I've been hearing all my life. But when you have us who have been for years, man, just treated like nobody. And this is where I get this whole people say, well, he's a justice preacher. No, I'm just a preacher of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I didn't say it was the Lord when he came. His first public sermon said he came to set the captives free or deliver them who are bruised. So when I never seen. I heard Don King said when he started promoting that, they say he was a crook. I don't know the man. Looked like he could, you know, be pretty how he was. He's an old man now. But one thing he said when he came in offering Muhammad Ali and them 5 million, 10 million. Before then, they were getting 100,000, 200,000. Now, why is it when men like us, who they trying to make look like nothing, talk about finances? Now, I've got a son in there right now. One of my happy birthday, Trey. One of my son's birthday. My oldest son today, he's 22 years old. Now, man, since my kids been grown, from when I was younger, I was who I was, and I wasn't there properly like I should have. That's just something that I have to grapple with. But man, my kids come and ask me for anything, I'll give it to them. But it's not about giving it to them. What am I gonna leave? You know, I'm already behind. So when people talk crazy like that, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm learning. And I told you, Cliff, the other day when we talked, you got to forgive me because, you know, God calls some people for battle because everybody can't speak like that because, you know, people scared. And I've had people in my own family, he going to get us in trouble. Well, look, you know, you're going to die anyway. Might as well. I got a black son in there. Listen, man, life is just not fair. And my children, if I die and leave them nothing, they're already behind the start line. So insurance, life insurance is so important. Don't ever let nobody tell you because you're trying to, you know, get yourself some life insurance that you selling your soul for money. Let me tell you something. And if I took that out of context, I'll come back and retract it. But when people die, I'm talking about dead. And they land in a casket. Listen, I don't have to worry about it because I'm gone. But why would I want to leave that type of pressure on my children? You know, why would I want to? I never will forget, man. There was a family, bless their heart, that I heard about, and they left a little debt when they died. The grandparents had left a little debt. Now, see, I'm gonna tell you something. Somebody's gonna pay that debt, and more likely to be people saying, "Have you sold your soul for money? Have you sold your soul for money?" When you can try to stop what people are trying to do so they can make it better for their children. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Children. Man, you know, people. I'm not the smartest knife in the drawer. But when people talk to me, you ain't talking to somebody who's not learned, and you ain't talking to somebody who hadn't been learned extensively, and not all by America's colleges and universities, because some stuff you got to pick up from people who ain't never been to school a day in their life, but they are touched by God, and you touched by God, man. And I wouldn't dare let people, you know, come on. Not this broadcast. It's not a broadcast. It's a life. I'm no TV. Preacher, none of that. I'm just trying to what I see in the biblical text, make it bring light to people who who would never even come to church and hear a pastor because they hear so much stuff in the church. There's so much that we talk about that kills people every day, and we don't say nothing. We don't say a word, you know. And I'm gonna tell you something. If somebody got unjustly done wrong in any area in the world, we don't know how to handle it because I mean, we just there. We don't have no army. We have no nothing. And then you have people have the nerve to say stuff like that. They've been deceived. They've really been deceived. So in this and knowing all that, what you know, I know that you're a man of God. What is it that you felt that you had to do once you know this information is here, and you have a company that says, "Hey, listen, this is what we're gonna do." if you the person that can get this information out here, and then people see how it works, and this is not no gimmick, and this is nothing that that people can make crazy comments like that. What gave you the drive to want to do this?
Obedience. Obedience. Can I keep it plain?
Certainly.
2020 was such a year.
It was.
2020 was such a year. 2020 was such a year, and we had been gifted with this information. And of course, the first thing we had to do was get our own situation straight. For me and for my wife and for my children, and we had to put some life insurance in place for them. Once we found out that life insurance was for the living, but what we had been sold all our lives was for the dead.
Right.
Then we were able to turn some things around and start moving differently.
Right.
But back to 2020 was so rough.
It was, man.
That we felt like God was saying, if you still here, Cliff, if I have left you here, then it's because I got something for you to do. Because God, I felt like people was leaving her. Either people wasn't making use of their time, or they had done what they were supposed to do. But I feel like there's something upon us, and we leaving here, and war is upon us. And
all kind. Go ahead.
It is, and so I want to come back to that's what kept us. That's what's keeping us going. The other part of our why is that my mother is 60 something years old, and she worked her entire life since she was 16. And the reality of it is, she cannot retire and afford to retire. And if we don't do something to help her retire, then she will not retire right. And here is a fact. We don't want to retire the way that my mama has retired. Can I be real?
Man,
can I shoot straight? Can we be honest and say this? We're not thinking about retirement, but we don't know anyone. We barely know anyone who's retired wealthy.
I'm today. I'm sorry, but man, and see, that's real. I'm 42 right now. Yeah, I've been pastoring at Greater Hope for 7 years. And let me tell you something. In 20 years, listen, man, it's about time for me to sit down. Where else in a culture do you see people, leaders old, but black cultures,
right.
I'm not gonna say nothing about our old leaders because I respect them very much, and there's nothing else to say because he's still very effective. The one that I'm thinking about, and I wish I could meet him because he gave so much man power to people who would come out of the prison system that was made for them to stay in there and die, and he turned them into real men and real women, clean them up and get them off of that stuff that the enemy put them on. So but still, I don't want to be, man, unless I'm able to do it the way I eat catfish and cheeseburgers and chitlins and stuff. I'm finna get back in shape because I love to eat that stuff. But my body, the stuff I eat don't say that I'm gonna be here very, very long. But if I am, I don't want to be stuck at some job looking at somebody young enough to be my great grandchild, and here I am working with them. It don't make no sense. Man. I feel sorry, literally. Don't feel sorry for me. I feel sorry for people who got to go back to Walmart and be a greeter. Just to try to, and it might not even be for the money, just for the insurance. So, you are so right.
No, it's a reality, man. It's a reality. I pose a question. How many people do we know that are 65 or 70 and can actually say that they no longer have to work? I'm talking about people that we personally know, 65 or 70, and can say that they no longer have to work and they're not struggling. But here's the thing: we have to be thankful for the sacrifices that our ancestors have made, not just our parents and our grandparents, but when we start thinking about our great grandparents, we have to think about how close we are to slavery.
Man, listen, 75, 270, if I got it right. If two people 75, my mama's 70, you put 5 years on her and get another person to 75 from that next generation. That's how far we are from sex.
That's how far.
Realize that,
That's
man.
how far.
You
That's how far. So we have to be grateful that, you know, this is our time. It's a beautiful time to be colored, if you will. I know. Can I just? It's a beautiful time to have some melanin. This is our time. If we can just grab that. And so what's happened is there have been people who have been learning capitalism, and so have our people. There have always been wealthy African Americans since the beginning. Since before the movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Since before the other folks came over here and put their flag down and said that it's ours. There was wealthy Moors here then. There were wealthy melanated people here then. There have always been smart, intelligent, melanated people who were wealthy, and we thank God for what they have given us. But again, we're not that far removed from a place where we couldn't move around the way we wanted to. Our ancestors said, "I freed 1,000 slaves. I'd have freed 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves." Right. I mean, so what I'm saying is earlier you were saying something that really hit me. You said people say you gonna get us in trouble if you keep talking. That's some real trauma that we're not really dealing with. That's why is it that if I speak the truth, I'm scared I'm gonna get in trouble. That's some trauma. That's some real. Our people have gone through something enough to where we slick scared to be okay. We slick scared to be wealthy. We slick scared to be free. Because you know what I mean. So
I think about my mama. You just said something. That's enough to make you want to cry, man. My mother is older than your mother, and you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say, because there's probably people watching us right now who get a once a month check, whether it be retirement or whether you was on disability or however they give you some change and then expect you to live off of. That's below the poverty line, you know. And see, if it wasn't for, you know, some people are blessed. My mother is really blessed. She got a handsome son like me, and you know, you just don't get no better than that.
Thank God.
Man, we make sure that mama's straight, you know. I mean, you have to, because they never done anything to take care of us. And see, I wasn't even gonna get off on this, but see, it has to be said. And I don't care if you're black or white or whatever you identify with, because but you ought to get tight. If there's any type of sense of Jesus, God, the Holy Spirit, any type of whatever religion that you subscribe to, you know yourself that there is never ever anything been worse. And you can look up any type of slavery anytime. There were slaves in the Bible, yeah, it was, but never like African slavery. There's never a slavery so I mean, man, so degrading and so you know, and I just get right to it. So you know, people ought to stop all that noise they make. But see, if you ever driven by Satan, you know, you can't help it. I would ask anybody who know that they're not saved. I can't see people on here, but you can see me. If you're not saved, I promise you, leave a comment, and I promise you that I will do the best I can to ask the Lord to bless that. Even though you may be over there and I'm right here, that if we say the sinner's prayer, that symbolically, just like the Lord's Supper and a lot of other things, that we can do it together, because it's too much. It's too many people trying to stop other people. And then I'm gonna tell you something else. Well, no, I don't say that in front of a company that I don't know that I have, because I don't know everybody on here. But it's a twofold thing, you know. You're gonna do this, and you're gonna be. You can literally give somebody the recipe for their own future wealth, and they still not get it, you know. Yeah. So,
you know. Bless God, Pastor. The first thing that happened for us, and we, you know, again, we can only share what we've been through, is that we had to make a shift in our mindset that A, yes, we want to be wealthy, and B, we must save everything.
Yes.
Because it ain't sexy though, if I can be honest. When you talk like that, you know, it ain't sexy to talk about saving money, but you know, this is what we have learned in this until we at least see that first 100,000, we need to stop spending altogether.
Man,
If we can't go grab 100,000 right now, ain't nothing else we need to buy.
right.
This illusion of inclusion that says because I can participate, I won't even go into all that, but
Well, it's because that's what keeps us. That was begging at the gate of beautiful. He was getting money and alms, but that same thing that he was getting is what kept him in that position. So that's you make a good point right there.
Yeah.
A healthy point. People need to know. Sometimes we're gonna come back next week. We'll come back because I don't want to hold you. It's 8:58 now, and
wow.
but I saw that comment and see, I don't know where it was coming from. I don't know what type of heart it came from. Looked like somebody took it off. But I'm gonna have to get me some people soon. Cause see, I'm not in that 100,000 club that you're talking about, man.
Right.
See,
we got to get that together, brother. We got to get that together.
Yeah, and didn't even think about it at that time. I should have been doing some other stuff. And I tell you what, I got with Ray. I needed him. He was with me talking about the investments. I got another brother from here. He never did get back with me. Hopefully he's watching right now. He'll see this, Demetrius, and then you can come on as well because this is so serious. He's heavy in that financial stuff. So I thought when Ray came and we talked about the investing, just to kind of put it out there, because even the scriptures when it talks about this he was a ruler and he gave his people some talents, and a lot of people may miss it, but he gave it to them not so they can save it and then dig it up out of the ground and get listen, this is a man who he's forward thinking, he's a rough man and he's got his ducks in a row. So I'm gonna give you 5, give you 3, and you 1. Well, listen, the one who had the 5, he went out and produced more 5. That sounds like investing to me. I mean, I don't know. It don't sound like saving because you don't get a return that quick when you save. In that book, Investors for Dummies, it says the number 1 prerequisite for investing is saving. But listen, we get off our saving thing now. Listen, this is why you're 42 and you ain't never invested in nothing. You saved a long time. You say you got to dip in there. So now let's start investing. And you know what happened when he got down to the one who didn't produce nothing? He said, I knew you was a hard man, so I didn't want to take the chance of losing it. And that's how we are those ones, right? He's up to something. He's going to try to get us. He's done sold to the devil. It's always somebody like that. Instead of looking at it, investigating, educating yourself, researching, and then, seeing what's up. You can't, I'm not telling everybody how to be risky like me, but I'll take a chance because I'm tired of coming up short. I've been man, the Lord has, and my blessings is simply like this: what you sow, that's what you're going to reap. If you sow good, you're gonna get good fruit. If you sow bad fruit, you're gonna get bad fruit. If you save all your life, you're not gonna be probably as well off as somebody who invests. So, my prescription to everybody would be to seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. Yes. Things to be added that's my only secret, but I'm not ready to retire yet, so I know I'm seeking him first, but you can do that and you go ahead and seek God and all of that, but there's still a system that is in place that God is not going to stop you from dying poor. He's just not, he's not going to stop you from dying poor. I think there's a lot of things God is not going to do for us what we can do for ourselves. I don't care what you say. Why would God want to fill out an application for us? We with the least. I mean, we got hands. He's not gonna fill the application. He might. You fill the application out. Then let him work. He got something to work with in the background that everybody can't see. But he's not gonna go up and hey, no. Listen, I just don't believe God works like that. He can do whatever he wants to. But there's some things like this because we've got many people who look like us who have died and didn't have nothing. And their children died and didn't have nothing. And their children died and didn't have. I'm tired of that, man. That's where I'm at. So I'm hoping we get Ray on here next week and then we'll bring you back on if you had time, because I don't need nobody coming on the page, you know, I mean, sowing any type of bad fruit. It's enough bad fruit out there now. And you can't sow here, because I don't care what people think about me or any other person who's a gospel, whatever, or, you know, whatever you are. You can't stop what God has for anybody. Listen, you can put your foot on my neck. God will break your foot to get it off my neck if he wants to bless me. I mean, it's just as simple as that. You know, so I appreciate brothers like you who at least putting the work in and know it worked for yourself. And man, the stuff you told me, I'm not telling you to get into it, because we're gonna get together and we're gonna talk about that. But you gotta have a plan. And here's another thing I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna let you close us out with whatever you want to say. But you probably got that video of Lincoln Burke. I can't think of the guy's name, but he said you take men 25. You take some men who are 25 years old. You ask them, what do you want to do with life? You'll see a sparkle in their eye because they're young. You know, hair stands straight up on the back of the neck. They ready to roll. Well, by the time they get 65, these same 25 that was ready to roll and said they were gonna be rich, by the time they get 65, guess what? They not all rich, brother. We talked about it earlier. You know, I don't see many 65-year-olds around our hood, around our city. I'm sorry, because I'm tired of saying hood, because we still neighborhood. You know, there's no need to take a neighbor out of the hood. Then you just left with a hood. We need our neighbors in the community. But I don't see many 65-year-olds, man, living it up. You know, they are probably trying to retire. They have barely just enough. That's not the way God designed it for us. You want to talk about prosperity preaching? Prosperity preaching is real. Prosperity preaching is not really talking about money, because it ain't nothing wrong with us having some money. And I need to tell somebody that it ain't nothing wrong with the preacher driving good. It ain't nothing wrong with anybody who is a child of God living good. Solomon was the richest man in the world. He was wise. He was rich. He had 700 wives, 900 booths or concubines. I mean, you see this all over. But when it comes to us getting something, you don't know the half I've had to face, Cliff, being a preacher and working hard all of my life. My church had a single car that I got, but if they did, it wouldn't be nothing wrong with it, because I deserve it. Because I mean, if when you go to war for United States of America, they don't make you buy your own gun, your own armor. You know what I'm saying? If you go to your yard right now and plant a garden, what you look like paying for your own stuff? You know, I mean, so the Bible says, such as the man or woman of God. God commands that those who preach the gospel shall live off the gospel. I didn't say, I didn't say take advantage, but people, man, they got to get off of this stuff about. I don't know where they hit who have taught them, and then if it's somebody who taught you who didn't have the same books and material that we have, you know, educate yourself and stop saying a bunch of dumb stuff, because that right there is what keeps people. When people say stupid stuff, man, I mean that has no type of evidence whatsoever that that's what somebody's doing. You kind of you shine a light that says, I'm gonna do something to distract you, you know, from the purpose. But I'm gonna have some money one day. I'll be able to hire some of them people who can get the trolls off of here, because this page is meaning to help and inspire and for people to grow.
We did. I mean, you know, that's why they show up. You know what? Thank God for the devil showing up to try to steal something, because let me know it's something over here worth to be stolen. Well, you know, thank God.
I'm telling
you, don't do nothing but fan the flame.
Right. And I guess I feel so silly if you know, because every now and then I'm like Judge Mathis, I flip out on somebody quick, but it's only, man, because you got to protect, you know, what you're trying to do, especially if you're right. My thing is, I have lived in the, you know, you said something about the bottom of the barrel, man. Think just every morning you wake up, but you had just the most, you're poor, you know, you are poor in real life. But you have a dream every single night of your life that you made it out. But then you wake up every morning just to get up and look at your miserable existence. I'm going to tell you something. You're going to want to stay in the bed a lot more if that's where your satisfaction is coming. But man, people need to know there is nothing about us that says we come from S-hole countries, or we come from
Right.
the bottom of the barrel. Man,
Right.
I was on the streets for a long time. Well, I say 5-6 years to be tops. I don't want to make it seem like I was this lifetime criminal, because I wasn't. I got problems like everybody else got, but nobody came to rescue me but the Lord. It was Satan himself had done told me he was gonna kill me out there. And when God has done something for you, I don't care if it's a person that I've had an out with that I don't agree with. Man, I see his struggle, because he can be anywhere in the world, get pulled over, and his life be gone just because of the stigma that is placed on us. I like to see brothers like you, and I started to put on a suit tonight, and I knew you would be dressed. But see, this brothers like you that's gonna make a difference in the world. It's brothers like you who have really seen a way out for your family, that you can get this education, because there are people, man, who have that information and education, and they have no plan in life to help anybody else but themselves. Kind of like that rich fool in the Bible. And that's why I love the scriptures, man, because people can say what they want to say. I'm wise enough to know what I think about the scriptures, but what I know about the scriptures, they do not do nothing to make my faith go anywhere in God. For instance, I don't want to mess up nobody's religion, but they say the Noah story is probably not real. Well, let me tell you something. If it is real, I wasn't here when it happened. If it ain't real, the time that it happened, I still wouldn't be here. But here's what I do know. When God himself gets ready to do whatever he want to do, he can send a pandemic when you have a bully, rich, crazy, talking about I can do anything I want to a woman. All I got to do is buy her some furniture.
Yeah.
When you got somebody like that, man, and I don't care whether God sent it, whether he allowed it, we get engaged in too many stupid arguments in church. I don't care whether he sent it or he allowed it. Here's what I do know. When I saw it with my eyes, that nobody had an answer for it. So I knew whether he sent it or whether he allowed it to go, whether
absolutely
his permissive will for it to come, nobody had an answer for it. And like you said, people are dying like flies. I mean, they still, to this day, even though it's going down, I've never been to so many funerals in my life. I was scheduled, man, and this is how bad this thing was. I was scheduled. It was a mixed schedule. One funeral was supposed to be one day, and that was supposed to be the next day. But I was scheduled to 2 funerals at the same time in different locations. I'm not Superman. I can't be in 2 places at once. I don't even try nothing like that. But I'm saying that's how bad that something can happen when people think that there's so much, and God can send something, and you don't even know what to do with it. 3 years later, we still got people dropping like flies. Vaccinated, not vaccinated, so you can't tell. And now we are these human beings. We're distracted from what the real thing is, because I got people in the street getting mad about, are you vaccinated or you're not vaccinated? Man, listen, get away from me, because I just but man, I don't know if how you've been if you've ever caught any flack. But man, I'm gonna tell you something. Keep doing what, if you know that you called to make a difference in the world, and God is using whatever he's using, go with it. I'm talking about go to the stratosphere, because only what we'll do for Christ will last. I want to get me a nice bag in the process. That don't mean that I'm greedy. That don't mean that I sold my soul. That mean I got bills like everybody else.
Yeah, man. Man.
Ain't never been able to pay a bill. Hey, I'm pastor. I'm the one that pastor that church over there. We do a lot of stuff. They not finna, man. Listen, they gonna cut it off like people already. They said, but man, I've ran on. Man, where can people find you? That's what we need to know. If they need to know where you at, because this, I heard it, and I got to check into it and see where he at. Well, how can they find you?
Oh, well, man, they can definitely find us. First of all, I want to say, man, thank you for the platform that you have and the work for God that you doing, because again, if it wasn't worth being stolen, the enemy wouldn't be trying to steal it, man. So I'm so appreciative for what you're doing But definitely here on Facebook, we can be found. And Cliff Eccles is my name, and we always putting up some good stuff there. But also uh our website, I wanted to share it down here in the
Yeah, what? How can we do that? Well, I
give
mean,
me
I know how
one
you can say it. I should have
second.
done that at first, so we could already have it on the screen. And I tell you what, if you can do it on your end, you can put it in the comment section. I know you can do that, and that will show. And this thing will be on here as long as videos are on here. So,
I
and
will. I'll
okay,
type that down there in the
okay.
I don't know
You get off, you
if
can
I
go ahead and type it, or you can tell me now. I got a spot right here. I can type it and then put it on there. What you got?
okay. It's agents. Hold on.
Agents like AGENTH, like FBI agent.
AGENTS. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Here, I'm gonna type it just so and then you can look on there. Can you see that?
Uh, now are you talking about the announcement? I mean the comments. Sometimes I can,
Yeah.
sometimes I can't. Um, but I'm fixing to right there. I can see comments and um, like you can see that on the screen. I can flash it on the screen like that, so you can see, so the people can see it. And then I'm gonna play a couple other songs and let this run so they can see it. Because if people, I've been spreading the news to a couple of members in my church, and um, because and that was something that I wanted us to say, that I wanted to ask you. Let's say, now man, there are people. Well, first let me say this about funerals. To my knowledge, this is only to my knowledge of what I've heard, and I've got a couple of people that are real good morticians, and I always wondered, and when I was a little boy, if my buddy, if his had a loved one die. Man, I seen one time this dude died. The next day they was having his funeral. I said, man, they ready to get
Yeah.
him up. Anyway, did they sure they didn't murder him? I didn't know what was
Yeah.
going
Yeah. Yeah.
on. Man,
Right.
every single time that there was a funeral of somebody who was Afro American, colored, you call them, whatever you call us,
Yeah.
man, I've seen people, man, I didn't think they was ever gonna bury him. I said, well, you might as well go ahead and
Yeah.
prop
Yeah.
him up by the freezer, because man, and I used to wonder, and it was, again, not knowing, it wasn't until I was in high school until I heard somebody in my own family say, oh, well, that ain't that, that's just because white folks got the insurance, black folks ain't got no insurance. And man, that is so,
Just as simple as that.
it's so
Mm-hmm.
sad. It's
Mm-hmm.
so sad that families, man, have to. And I'm not talking about just young people who might have got shot or something like that. We talking about people, man, who should be retired, don't
Mm-hmm.
have no insurance. I mean, I lived on this earth all these years and
Mm-hmm.
did not accumulate enough money to have myself buried, when I die. Come on, man.
That's the
That's enough.
reality.
You ought to, that's enough to make you say, well, okay, now now they'll talk about us. We be on this boy didn't even have no insurance. I wonder how they gonna pay for his
Yeah.
funeral. We good at that. We are good at that. But when is somebody gonna say, okay, all that privilege they got over there, why don't they come and help? That would be a good, that'd be a good sense. That, what, I think that would be a good thing to do. Is turn away from wicked ways,
Mm-hmm.
and take the privilege, instead of saying, stuff that's just gonna push us down even more. Take your privilege and go plant it in somebody's area. And I think that would be a good act of God right there, because
Yeah.
um, I tell people all the time, you even got to think about God in a sense, because anybody who allow on God, and here, when I tell you this, you better. I promise you, if you haven't heard anything else I said, and I'm talking to the Facebookers and anybody else who's listening, YouTubers, if you have a person or a people who will lie on God, they come straight from Satan. I mean, because they'll lie about anything, and you got to watch that when it comes to religion and what what you believe, and then we got our people caught up in some stuff that don't make sense at all, or either it sounds good because just like in the old movement, you're just looking for somewhere to belong. They killing us over here. We just want to go somewhere and belong where we feel like we have a little say so about what you can do to me. I don't have no right of my own feelings, the way I think, the way I look at stuff. I can't look up too long. Or come on, man. That's that type of attitude. It really don't have no room for anywhere that's forward thinking. People like that. I don't know. That's a level of evil that you just wonder that you would want to do something to block my chance to give people. I mean, don't you want to? Every time you see somebody who's homeless, why don't you go get a job, Bob? Come on now. Don't say that, but you want to block information, so it's got to be somebody who's not afraid to just say it. And then people who are not afraid to, man, be somebody. You got to have courage. Maya Angelou said it takes courage to do what you're doing, Cliff. It takes courage to be out there, trying to get people to see I got the formula right here, but they ain't listening. So you got a hard job, man. I'm gonna pray for you,
man.
But what? I'm right there with you, brother. I'm telling you, I'll be right.
Yeah, you are. Absolutely.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, I didn't mean to I didn't mean to take up the time, but I am very strong against people, and I could be. I don't know people, man, but I just go by what people say. I'm not a contentious. Well, yes, I am, but I'm not one who go for bad. I say because I believe that there's just a conflict resolution, like Willie D said. I mean, they got you gotta say things, man. There was a scholar, and I used to go listen to him back when I was on this side of the church world. And Dr. Bowles, he was out of West Tennessee. Where's down there with all them Covington, Tennessee? I remember going down to Covington, man, and Ripley and Henning and all those West Tennessee towns. They have every car had a rim on it. You know what I'm saying? It might have been barely running, but it had some nice rims. But Dr. Bowles is who he was. He said when Moses killed that Egyptian. Now watch this, people, because you're gonna get the wrong idea. You're gonna hear what I say, and then you're gonna think I'm saying that it's okay to murder, because people always misquote you. But Dr. Bowles says it like this. Hear me now. When Moses killed that Egyptian, God then said, I can use him. Not because he killed a man, but he killed a man who couldn't do anything for himself. And you normally are not going to allow somebody, if you can stop somebody from bullying somebody who can't take care of themselves. So God said, I can use him in leadership, not because he's a murderer, but he just happened to engage somebody. And listen, if it come down between me and you, and I got the strength, we just see how that's going to go. And sometimes, man, you have got to preach the gospel when people come and say things that has no God in it. God, man, he listen, there's no mistake when there are things of God and things of the devil. See, the devil wants you to think, oh, it's okay. You can eat. It ain't, you won't die. He told you that, Now, I don't know where this husband is, where this clown serpent is talking to his woman, but it seemed like to me that somebody said he was right there. It seemed like to me it shouldn't have never got that far. I don't know. That's me eisegesis right there. Because ever since Satan, that old serpent, has been in the garden, he's been through everybody's garden trying to turn, the woman against the man. So we got to be careful out here, fam, because if we not, Satan is like a roaring lion seeking who he may devour. And man, devour, I checked that out. I got some, man, listen, I'm starting to have this new love for dogs because, man, you can feed a dog. I don't care if it's a pit bull. I feed about three of those sometimes. And man, you talking about devour something. You go the pit bull and you just see how them clowns eat like that. It don't make no sense. They're not taking their time, and they eating, they devour it. And see, if if an enemy came, you said, I'm just seeking who I can devour. There go Pastor,
Yeah.
right? Man,
Yeah.
it's over. And if the Lord don't have his hand on you, you're done. So
Yeah.
I think it's
Mhm.
time to, I know my members think I'm crazy because I get on one thing like this and I make it about the whole thing. But people need to know that you don't need to interfere with anything that God has going on. If we are wrong, and I have to say that because it's the truth. If we are wrong, if I'm wrong, if I'm sowing some type of bad seed to my congregation or to these little ones out here, trust me, God, he if he send a pandemic and don't
Indeed.
nobody know, listen, he can do anything he want to. So I thank God for you, man. And you just being who you are. We ain't been knowing each other that long, but I'm blessed because
It's a bless.
if somebody with a bad spirit walks in the room, you gonna know about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They say real recognize real, but you can try the spirit by the spirit. I know when people, some people are slick, don't get me wrong, but I know when people are trying to do what's best for the nation, you know what I mean, and try to help somebody else. And then I know when people ain't no good because there's always a sign. Satan always sends something to show you he's in the camp because he's not afraid. He's not scary. Man, Satan is
Right.
like, he's a, man, you know what? I mean, I'm gonna stop right there because I start referencing some things that there's some snakish activity, and then you'll be able to know. So we have got to be wise as serpents
Yeah.
and harmless as doves, um,
Yes.
and
Yes.
protect what it is
Yeah.
that we have, man, because it's because of things that some people do. You ever seen Hidden Colors?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Man, that's a good. Have you seen all five? There's 5 or 6 of them.
Absolutely, including the Haiti one. You said something there, wise as serpent and harmless as the dove. This,
Uh-huh.
this it in a in this is why it's our time to understand life insurance as an asset, to
Right.
understand using credit as capital,
Mhm.
because this, for the best that we know, this has been what the serpent has been using. Now we need to understand how they moving. We need to get that wisdom and be able to use that wisdom for ourselves and be harmless as a dove. Like
Right.
no
Right.
one has seen it be done the way we about to do it.
No one, no one. And I believe that, and I just know that the Lord, man, is gonna bless. Let me put your, I'm gonna put this up here so we can. So if anybody needs to know where to find, because he will be able to explain it to you. Don't call me about this. Now you can call me and tell me that I said too much, and don't pay attention to people like that because they just want to distract you. And you can tell me, listen, baby, don't worry about them. That's just gonna be like that. Or you can tell me, they didn't even mean that. That happens to be somebody who want to give you a donation, and if they are righteous, and they are real, because you can't just come to me with anything. I don't believe, I'm not one that can be bought. I believe in serving the Lord with conviction and with power and with truth. Now, I hope I can copy and paste that because this right here will, bam. All right, there we go. This right here is, okay, let me do something real quick. Okay, let's do this. I think and anybody, if you ever have any questions, because sometimes um, I misunderstand something, and then even sometimes when I look at things, I'm trying to do it very fast, and my world moves quick like a camera flash. Sometimes when it comes to this social media stuff, so I do want to thank all of those who have blessed us, had me and Cliff looking real good right there, and I do have to thank her for doing this. What's that lady's name who does this stuff for me? What is that woman's name? Good God Almighty! I ought to be ashamed. Elizabeth Jones. I'm just, and then and what she's doing, she does some graphic design and stuff. And I have to thank God for, you can't thank people who are doing it now and don't go back and grab the people who have done it before when we had nobody. God always puts people in, and I'm so busy sometimes that I don't get to communicate properly. So I don't never want to take anybody for granted. I want to thank her, and then I have to thank always, because for a long time I'm trying to get my wife away from a lot of the stuff, the hands-on stuff, because um, there's room. What did our pastor used to say all the time? There's room at I can't even think of it, but it says there's room as a crop. How can I forget? The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Mm-hmm. So anybody who comes in and wants to help, I am so grateful. Those we have some going out, and we got some coming in, and that's the way church ought to be like all the time. Somebody told me, man, when I first got to our church, it was a blessing. I don't look at stuff as I do it. That's a good way to get me somewhere messing up, because it's not a pride thing. It's prideful that I used to be. But if anything that I ever do good, or anything that ever makes it, it's got to be because of a God that sits high and looks low. Because it's not of me. Now here's what I'm saying when I say that. I understand how powerful the mind is. The mind is so powerful, man. Mm-hmm. And I haven't, I'll say it like this: it's a terrible thing to waste. And if the scripture backs it up, but if we put our mind to this, and we set goals, and mm-hmm. we get to a place that we're trying to go, we can flip this. People will be blessed. Mm-hmm. Put it in the mm-hmm. mind. Put it in the mm-hmm. mind. So I thank you, brother. I don't want to hold you up. Call me anytime, man. I haven't really looked on my little these dudes, and here's what I think. I think in order to really have what we're talking about and be able to leave some for these babies, man, you got to have you got to be committed to yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to love, believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
Man, it's so much trying to take it away from us.
And
you go up to funeral after funeral like I do, and you know that people, don't have it. And it's like you said. What did you say earlier? We were given this, and it's keeping us where we're at. But we want to give you this, and it's gonna bless your life in 10. Right. Hey, let me ask you this question. I'm gonna let you go because this is so important to me. How are you able to get the savings mindset and the hourly mindset to a
prayer? Prayer. I mean, active God, I trust you. Active God, I know the people around me, I can't see it, but you said it. And because I love you, you said it. That's got to be enough. You said move in this direction. Right. This the direction that I'm gonna move in. Not to mention, we have given ourselves permission to listen to the people who are in the position that we want to be in. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Man, listen, we makes all sense in the world to me. I'm telling you.
Yeah. We have given ourselves permission to do that.
Yeah, everything you said makes sense. And man, I got off on this soapbox because I couldn't stand that, and I guess I could have erased it myself. But we're gonna get you back on here anytime you get ready. Let me know after the next 3 weeks, because we got you and Ray coming back next week.
No doubt.
A young lady who's gonna really, she was on here earlier. She's gonna really be a blessing, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell people what it's about, so that they can you can hear it if you go past an hour and 30 minutes, because I'm usually not on this long unless the person I'm with just want to keep on going, because this can really bless somebody. And when I see people still on here, they listening for a reason. But we're gonna be talking about next week with Brother Cliff and Brother Ray, investments, this whole financing thing, life insurance. We're gonna get into it. I'm not gonna let nothing stop me until after it's over. Then I'll take an hour and 30 minutes and rant then. But I think it's so important for us to know what these gentlemen are talking about. And I tried it for myself. I'm on the next thing now. As soon as we get it right, but I've already tried it, and it's with anything, what you put in is what you get out. If
Yeah.
you think you can go, if you think you're gonna go to the weight room and look like Mike Tyson, it's 54. Hey, listen,
So no.
it's what you put in
So
there.
no.
So I don't want to, man, because I can't pay nobody but our time is worth our hire. But I told Ray, and I said, man, I'm gonna tell you, I just know I'm gonna get it, and if don't nobody else say thank you, in the church, and that's why I'm so hard on Christians. I got a lot of people, man, used to anyway. They don't so much anymore because they know I don't mind saying something. But I got people who have come to church just to eat and leave. They come to get something, but they don't want to put nothing in. I'll take care of all of it because I'm gonna make sure. I don't mind blessing people because God has a work to be done, and I'm not discount nothing that makes sense. When I hear it from a heart that man, again, that which reaches the heart, you don't it comes from the heart. You don't need no I got not several. I got about 2 good buddies that I really trust in, 3. And when I talk to them, I get the same flavor and feeling that I get when I'm talking to you. So I'm with you, brother. And that's another thing. We need people, man, who are not gonna try to, be on top of you, and man, we need people who are going to whatever skill set they have, whatever they can just add to. And if you're a
Bring it
person,
to the table.
yeah, if you're a person who can't, if you got some kind of narcissist disposition where you can't see somebody else have a little more than you, well, I don't know what to tell you. You pray about it, like Cliff said, because I mean, listen. God can what he's done for others, he'll do the same thing for you. You don't have to be jealous of somebody else because they ride nice or because they, eating well. Listen, God has the same, it all belongs to him. So I don't get all I don't really I can't really talk about that too much because it angers me when we are people who are suffering anyway, that you will get mad at me and be like a king crab and try to pull me down, and I'm just trying to spread love. So we got people like that. And I'm not saying anything, but we can just always do better. If I can't hurt you, if I can't help you, I'm sure not going to hurt you.
Show enough.
That don't
Enough.
mean I
Show
never
enough.
built like that anyway. I want to see what's best for everybody, man. I've been beating my back too much, struggling, to try to do the best for my children. And it's a different world we live in, but I know one thing. None of mine have to if they really, really need something, and I when I'm talking about the necessities that they didn't have to worry about nothing. So and brothers like you are really going to. I was proud of my baby daughter. I was talking about this whole cryptocurrency, and had I listened to Eddie Griffin back when I went and seen him in Zanies a couple years ago, I'd been in there. He said it looked like he looked dead at me. And I know he wasn't talking to me because we ain't ever talked about it. But he said, I told y'all you should have got in that Bitcoin, didn't I? He said, you blank, wish you had now.
Yeah.
I had. So now you start to see when you get my age, all the stuff that was presented before, all of them did catch. But there's still some good companies out there, man, that started that
Absolutely.
are still young, So
absolutely.
Better give us some good people and know some good hearts and ask God to lead and guide you because God will. He will. Brother, I thank you, man. And listen, I'm gonna give you a call tomorrow. What time you available?
Let's wrap. How about around lunchtime or so?
Give me a call. I'll be around. I got a haircut in the morning at 9, and then I gotta go and Call me when you're ready.
That'll work. That'll work.
All right.
That'll work.
Appreciate you. Y'all share this, like it, go to YouTube, share it, like, subscribe, hit that little bell so you can get see it's the notification every time that we get on here and say something. God bless you. God bless you.